Hello, welcome to SMCC's Wish Workshop on Test-Taking Skills. The first thing we'll discuss is what to do before the test. The most important skill to learn is to predict what's going to be on the test. You want a good feel for what questions might be asked and how the professor will ask them. So how do we do this? The most obvious but often overlooked way is to directly study from test study guides. Professors create these documents in order to give you direction on what to study, so use them. Help them guide you on what to study and how to allocate your time. What's important? What's not important? The study guide will often answer these questions for you. Also, pay attention to your professor and any clues they give away. Often a professor will tell you, this is important, or they will repeat something a few times, and certainly anything they write on the board is important. Thus, taking good notes is essential to doing well on the exam, so pay attention in every class and make notes of anything important. Thirdly, review all past quizzes, homework, and all your notes. Sometimes test questions will be direct repeats or modifications of questions you have already seen. Also, pay attention to topics you've covered, areas that need improvement or where you are lacking information. We all have areas we can improve. Now is the time to make an effort to improve those areas. Finally, refer to practice questions. This is by far the best way to prepare for the exam. Make yourself answer plenty of practice questions. This helps integrate the information you are studying and helps you think like you need to on test day. Often these questions can be found at the end of the chapter in textbooks, either as quizzes or end of chapter exams, so use them to answer lots of questions. You can also ask your professor to maybe provide you with any extra practice questions to help you along the way. So plan for your test. But how do we start to plan? Firstly, don't procrastinate and don't cram. Research shows that studying steadily over a number of days makes the brain retain far more information than if you crammed the night before. Ideally, you should start studying for an exam 2 weeks to a week before. Carve out time each day that you will commit to, just like a class where you show up and you study. Decide on what study tools you will use. Are you going to use the text, notes, PowerPoint? Every student is different, so experiment and find out what works for you and make it happen. Also, cut back on social activity and time wasters, like Facebook, Twitter, etc. By eliminating these distractions, we can focus on the test and succeed. Those things aren't going anywhere, so put them down for a little while you focus on your test. You can also use this spare time to hit the gym. Research also shows that exercise improves cognitive performance and reduces stress. Another thing you can do is consider joining a study group or connecting with tutors. For more information about that, you can visit the Learning Commons at SMCC. We'll be glad to help you out. When you are studying, you want to also eliminate sleep and food deficits. Cut back on caffeine, power drinks, and sugar. It's tempting to rely on these crutches while you prepare, but they will actually reduce your performance and end up taking a toll over the long run. So stay healthy and stay sharp. If you have an essay exam, you can create outlines and study vocabulary. Think about the topics you've discussed in class, make a list of key points, and jot down any pertinent words for the topic. Another excellent strategy is to write and answer your own essay questions. Just like practice questions, this helps you start thinking the way you need to for exam day. If you have an objective test where you have to identify the correct information, or a test where you have to absorb a lot of detail, make use of flashcards. This is one of the best ways to get lots of stuff into your brain in a short period of time. Most importantly is practice. Devoted practice leads to excellence. The day of the test, make sure you are prepared. Have everything you need, a pen, pencil, calculator, spare paper, etc. Also, take care of any external needs. Go to the bathroom. Make sure that you make that necessary phone call so you can put your phone away during the test. Eliminate all distractions so that you can focus. Also, make sure you arrive early. Find a comfortable place with good lighting and space to work. Arriving late makes you anxious and is never good for your performance. Also, avoid pre-test talk. Keep yourself focused at the task at hand and don't let people pull you out of the zone. When you take a test, it will just be you and the test, so stay focused and don't worry about your peers. And the day of the test, avoid all unnecessary stress triggers. That's the main goal. If you studied correctly, you shouldn't have to study much or at all during test day, so just stay relaxed. Get a good night's sleep before, eat well, and drink plenty of water. This will all keep you alert and refreshed. So during the test, what happens if you get nervous? Make sure you listen and read all the directions. This will give you confidence that you are moving in the right direction. You can also do a data dump where you write down everything you need to know about the subject on a spare paper. These can be facts, formulas, whatever you've memorized. You can do this right before you begin or any time during the test, and it will make you feel like you haven't lost anything between the cracks. And don't worry, this is totally legal and acceptable. Also, distribute time according to credit value. In other words, spend the most time on the questions worth the most points because that's where you will get the most credit. Remember the goal, to get the highest grade possible. Also, if you don't know a question, skip it. Don't waste valuable time. When you take the test, use all the allotted time. It's important to use all the time you have to make sure that you did your best job. Review all the questions you answered and go back to any skipped questions. Also, pay attention to all the questions in the test. Sometimes a question further along in the test will actually give away the answer to a previous question. So pay attention and use everything at your disposal. An important point here, however, is to only change the answer if you are 100% sure that your current answer is incorrect. If you studied correctly, then most likely your first instinct was the correct answer, so trust your gut. As a quick overview, objective tests contain multiple choice, true, false, and matching. As I mentioned earlier, flashcards are a great way to study for these types of tests. For essay tests, you can retrieve the outline from your data dump that you did on the back of your test or on a spare piece of paper. Make sure that you reread your essay before you turn it in, and make sure it's legible and easy to read. I know some of us don't have the best handwriting, but make an effort to make it legible and easy to read for your professor. If time runs out, make sure that you list the points that you would have made in a list on your paper. This will show your professor, hey, I know this information, I just didn't have the time to answer the questions in essay format. So you might be able to pick up a few points using this method. After the test, don't just look at your grade and throw it in your notebook. Do a post-game review. Find out if a particular part was easy or hard for you. Also look for patterns to when you answered questions incorrectly. You want to be critical about your performance, find the areas you can improve, and make a change for the next time. Also, determine if your study strategy worked for you. If you used flashcards and did great, then keep using them. If you used a study strategy and it caused poor performance, then consider a different approach for the next exam. We're always trying to improve, and that's the ultimate goal. For more information on this topic, just visit smccme.libguides.com/tutoring and click on Study Skills. You can also visit our in-person tutoring sessions at the Learning Commons at the South Portland campus. See the above link for a schedule. Well, thanks for watching. Your friends in the Learning Commons.